This song that we're going to give you as a gift, it was a song that was written for our Mama Jasiri. Um, when Mama Jasiri started her preschool class, she always grounded the children because she said that we don't know what situation our children are coming from. We don't know what their morning has been like. We don't know what their evening was like before they went to sleep. So they always began with prayer and meditation, which was part of their everyday teaching. So this song really embodies everything that she stood for us, everything that Mama Oyin and Mama Okanona had in mind when Iliomo Day was started. Not producing. These doors are always open for you to come and help. So in the spirit of Mama Jasiri and all of our teachers, we give this gift to you.
Don't let them be misled by the same old lies. Only time will tell if we've taught them well, like we should. No, now, some way, somehow, we've gotta teach the children.
Rise up, the tree of life. Honor the Netzeru. They live inside of me, inside of you. Praise, glory, and honor to our Netzeru.
Geb, I nourish the life force, Ra, of my body. I nourish the energy of the earth.
Geb is to be honored.
Knowledge, health, and vitality from birth. Aset, I use my dreams as insight to my spirit. I respect what I learn from within.
Aset is to be honored.
Netzer of memory, imagination, and devotion. Sebek, I know who I am, and my words have power. Positive thoughts connect me to my divine self, so true.
Sebek is to be honored.
Logic and intellect I need for learning at school.
Het Haru, I am full of joy no matter what life brings. I use my imagination for a positive life.
Het Haru is to be honored.
Beauty is best when it dwells inside. Haru, I am given the freedom to choose wisely by the Creator. I train my will to choose the path of the divine law.
Haru is to be honored.
Emotions are not for me to follow. Haru Kahuti, in my divinity, I will obey divine law. I know everything in the world is connected tight.
Haru Kahuti is to be honored.
Divine justice is always standing on the side of right.
Maat, what I do for another I have done for myself and for God. The foundation of everything is truth, law, love, and order.
Maat is to be honored.
She is the web of interdependence that makes us all one and guides us to truth. Sakir, I can influence the physical world through the spirit. God's existence is the center of my being.
Sakir is to be honored.
My spiritual power ever increasing. Tehuti, I am wise, gaining knowledge from God, dwelling within. I know by experiencing reality.
Tehuti is to be honored.
Wisdom is exalted and follows through me.
Nothing works against me. I am one with all.
Asar is to be honored.
And willing intelligence for those big and small. Amen. Deep peace that that passes all understandings, spirits, source of our divinity.
Amen is to be honored.
The of infinity.
Rise up,
The tree of life.
honor the Netzeru
That live inside.
inside of me.
Inside of you.
Praise, glory, and honor to our Netzeru.
All right. Please proceed.
Grand Rising and happy Sunday. My name is Donovan Starchild, and I will be your host today for today's Youth Sunday service. Welcome everyone, grandparents, elders, adults, youth, children, babies, members, family, and friends. Welcome all to our youth service at Wosay Community Church. Wosay Community Church is a community of the way. The way is Maat, truth, justice, and righteousness. We believe in the teachings of our elders and our ancestors, that the Creator God created the universe and all life, and has placed in each of us a part of the divine spirit. God living in us and through us has given us the right and the power to establish peace and justice with all human life and true harmony with all of creation. We believe in the living faith of all of our ancestors. Our way is not merely ritual or belief. Our way is a way of life. Now we will have our Wosei affirmations with Kobayatsu and Rolanio Fandewe.
We will know God's truth to be free and self-determined.
Creator, help us to remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors and to honor the struggles of our elders.
Let us strive to bring new vision and life to our people. Let there be peace and harmony among us.
Let us be loving, sharing, and creative. Let us work, study, and listen so we may learn, teach, and cultivate self-reliance.
Grant us power, O Holy One, as we struggle to resurrect our hearts and our homelands.
We will raise our children according to the needs of our nation with discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will strive to be the living models of the new direction of our people.
We are an African people.
We are children of God.
Baba Jeff and the video from Charlene.
Good morning, Wosei. My name is Charlene.
And my name is Anton.
Today I'll be reading an affirmation by Jakal El Malik, and I invite you to repeat after me. I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience.
I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience.
I am love.
I am love.
And I express myself at the highest vibration.
And I express myself at the highest vibration.
I am success.
I am success.
All that is meant for me is flowing to me constantly.
All that is meant to me is flowing to me constantly.
I am peace.
I am peace.
So I surrender to my path.
So I surrender to my path.
I am the unknown.
I'm the unknown.
So I know the unknown is nothing to fear.
So I know that the unknown is nothing to fear.
But a return to where I once began.
But the return to where I once began.
I am that I am.
I am that I am.
And today I will grow deeper into all that I am becoming.
And today I will grow deeper into all that I am becoming.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Thank you, Kobe and Lolo, for the Wosei affirmations, and Charlene for the and Charlene for the cultural expression, and Baba Jeff for playing the video.
Peace, peace, peace. It's Free Soul, here to give y'all this live and studio version of my new single, Uncle Jasaneb, featuring Lava. Let's get it. Yeah. Vibe, vibe, vibe. Chanel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look. And every death and rebirth is a cycle, eternal life. Yeah. And even in my darkest of days, I'm abundant in love and light. Uja Sinel. Uja Sinel. Uja Sinel. Uja Sinel. Life, prosperity, health. What I see when I look at myself. My energy flow into currency. I am the bag, time to manifest wealth. Universal glow, free soul. Shower in love everywhere that I go. Knee deep in the dirt on rainy nights. Water in the seed of life so the trees them grow. Fruit for the labor. We mesmerize the world with this flavor. And we don't care about no haters. Look, shining too bright, you can't shade us. And that's a rule, then return them. Bye bye Babylon, we gon' burn them. That's a rule, then return them. Bye bye Babylon, we gon' burn them. Yeah, look. And every death and rebirth is a cycle, eternal life. Look, oh. Uja Sinel. Uja Sinel. Uja Sinel. Uja Sinel.
Let the womb talk, yeah. I am the sun, moon, and the stars, yeah. I bring the life through the darkness, yeah. We done seen enough strife, time to run it up, yeah. Let me take this moment to honor the fallen. They rise through dimensions, and we strong with their presence. What they didn't heal, we gon' clean it up. And what they didn't feel, we gon' live it up. And what they didn't see, we paint the picture. Rainbow body, the full spectrum. Breathing in this cosmic wisdom, releasing what don't serve me no more.
And every death and rebirth is a cycle, eternal life. Yeah. And even in my darkest of days, I'm abundant in love and light. Uja Sinel. 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 Uja Sinel.
Thank you, Baba Jeff, for playing the music. Next, we will have a historical tribute by Indigo.
There is someone you will thank after this presentation for your new shoes, and that man is Jan Ernest Maat Zilliger. Maat Zilliger was born on September 15, 1862, and was and was born in Suriname, South America. At the time of his birth, Jan's father was a Dutch engineer working for the government of Suriname. His father, Ernest Matzelinger, also owned and operated the colonial shipworks that had been in his family for 3 generations. His mother, Aletta, was of Suriname descent and worked at the same plantation his father operated. As a child, Jan showed great willingness and ability in repairing broken things when visiting his father's works. At the age of 19, he left Suriname and worked as a mechanic on an Indian merchant ship for several years, allowing him to travel the world before settling in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jan spoke very little English upon arrival in Pennsylvania, but with his mechanical skills, he remained employed. He began to work with a local cobbler and began his interest in the shoe trade. His new interest would take him to Lynn, Pennsylvania, the capital of shoemaking at the time. He was a sewing machine operator and apprentice in the shoe factory. Special shoe sewers called lasters were held in high regard. The job of a laster was to sew the upper part of the shoe to the sole of the shoe. This allowed lasters to charge more money for their craftsmanship because their job was so important. This drove the prices of shoes to go up. Only 50 pairs of shoes could be made in a day. Jan studied English in his free time, as well as the subjects of physics and the mechanical science. Jan often dreamt about inventing a machine that would sew the upper part of the shoe to the sole, a dream that would become a reality later. Jan invented multiple machines that were unfortunately stolen by other inventors who profited off of them. A reality that was far too common for the melanated inventors. He quietly stayed focused on his goal of creating his shoe machine, so his misfortune was not a burden to him. Despite having no money or resources, Jan stayed focused on creating his machine and relied only on materials he could find to create his machine. A shoe factory gained knowledge of his plans, and out of fear began to bash his work and discourage his inventions. He later sold 66 of the interest in the machine, which allowed him to create 2 further versions of the machine and applied for a patent. After 5 years of work, Matzelinger obtained a patent for his invention of an automated shoe laster in 1883. Matzlinger's machine could produce 700 pairs of shoes a day, cutting shoe prices across the nation in half. Shoemaking was his passion and his demise. Matzelinger sacrificed his health, working hours on his invention, and starved himself over long periods of time. This is what caused him to catch a cold very quickly and turned to tuberculosis. He passed away before he saw his invention success because he died on August of 1889, 3 weeks shy from his 37th birthday. While many do not know this man, his inventions were very impactful for the world. Learning about historical figures is important because it shows how creative and innovative our people are. So when you buy your next pair of shoes, please thank Jan Ernest Matzelinger, our ancestor, for this blessing he gave us. Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe.
Thank you, Indigo, for that historical tribute. We all learned a lot, and thank you, Minister Imhotep, for playing the video. At this time, we will have a play done by the Star Child and Teasley clans. Then we will have the Litany of Sacrifice done by Tehubata and Sabatisa Zayanai.
Hello. Here today we have a battle between might versus right. But first, a bit of a backstory. In the beginning, Asar ruled over the land with righteousness. He took a trip one day, leaving Aset to rule the kingdom. His brother, Set, was super jealous. So when he returned from his teaching trip, Set and his homies killed Asar. severed his head, and scattered the pieces. In her sorrow, Aset went searching for the pieces, found most of them, and put Asar's body back together. Through immaculate conception, Heru was born. Aset had to keep him hidden because Set had taken control of the land and threatened to kill Heru. While hidden, Heru grew up. Aset taught him about his father and uncle, and how one day he would have to challenge his uncle for the throne so that righteousness could be restored. Meanwhile, Set continued his tyrannical rulership over the land, unrelenting in his persecution of the followers of Asar. The people's worship of Asar strengthened his spirit and caused him to appear in a dream to his son, Heru, who was now a young man. He encouraged him to regain the throne, to which he was the rightful heir, and gave him instructions in battle. That brings us here today, to our battle between might versus right. Heru gathered his army and went to confront Set.
Set, you are selfish because you only care about yourself and you hurt people with your bad words and wrong directions.
Respect your elder, son. I'm the king.
I may be young, but I know the truth. You cannot be king because you are not following the rules of Maat. You are not the right king of Maat.
Turn around. Let's do an end up like that.
If you do not stop hurting people, I will have to fight you.
The battle began at Edfu. Set's army slew many of the followers of Heru, but Heru and his army kept fighting. His greatest Set sought refuge at Zaru, where Heru caught up with him. In the last battle of the war ensued. In this pitched battle that went on for many days, Set gouged out Heru's eye, which would have cost Heru the war, and had not Tahuti healed it.
Heru, I have brought you wisdom and peace of mind to heal your eye. Always remember that the way to face bad people is with calm and not with anger. If you become angry, you will not know what to do when the time comes.
With his insight regained, Heru managed to castrate Set. This was the decisive point in the battle. Set was defeated and taken prisoner. Heru turned him over to the Queen Mother Aset for her judgment, but she refused to kill him, on the grounds that they were all family. So Set was given a day in court, as Set's government was based on might and pure deception, where force could not be openly applied. His words were found to be untrue. It was shown in most instances he contradicted and violated the very laws he imposed on others. On the other side, Asar and Heru had been shown to have lived by the laws they made. Thus, they were found to be Ma'akeru, true of word. Thus, the great quarrel was settled. Right triumphs over might. And Set was sentenced then to serve as the wind that propelled the boat of Asar, and its protector against the serpent of darkness, which is always trying to stop the light of Ra from shining on the world. Here is our cast: Aset, Delphinian Starchild, and Tahuti, Sabatisa Zainai Teasley. Set's army: Taubatak, Sabatisa Zainai, and Mithamonet Teasley.
Very good. Very good.
Heru's army. Obasizi Leontisley. Delphinia, Dimitri, and Katem Starchild.
Wonderful.
Well done,
And Set,
children.
Lolanyo Thandiwe Teasley. And Heru, Donovan Starchild.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Love it.
Beautiful, beautiful
Well done. Well
presentation.
done, young people.
Applause. Fabulous. That was fabulous.
Wonderful.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you, Starchild and Teasley Clans, for that play. Okay. And now we wait. And now we have the Litany of Sacrifice by Tehupata and Sabatisa Zainai.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, greetings.
Greetings, we'll say. We are here to do the
Litany of sacrifice.
litany of sacrifice.
Go.
Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly we bring our sacrifices to you. We will praise your name, O Amara, for it is good.
Read it from here.
We shall strive to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Kudichagalea, self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We shall build and maintain our communities. Together, our brothers and sisters, problems shall be ours to solve together.
Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Together we shall build and maintain our own businesses and together profit from them.
Kulumba, creativity. We shall do as much as we can in any way we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it.
Nia, purpose. We shall make our collective vocation the buildings and our developing of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness.
Imani, faith, we will believe with all our hearts in our God, our people, community,
In the righteousness and victory of our struggle.
On your screen, you will see how to contribute your love offering to OSE. You will see the mail address to our Oakland and Sacramento sites. You will also see the ways to get to our websites to contribute online.
Most High, thank you for will say, thank you for everything you have given to us. Help us that we have an open hand to receive we also have an open hand to give. We give thanks for you for the we give thanks to you for the gifts that you have gave to each of us, and we pray that we have the opportunity to use those gifts to build our people and create a stronger and stable community. Amen. Ashe.
Thank you, Star Child and Teasley Cleanse for that play, and Baba Jeff for playing it. Thank all of you for allowing me to be your host for Youth Sunday. Now, Wose family, we are on to the message which will be given to us by Minister Bill.
Grand Rising will say, Grand Rising.
Grand
Today
Rising.
Today I want to take a dip back to our basics. We need to break a few chains today. I'm gonna play a little something like Most Def said. Yeah, the same song that our own sounds of Maat brought to us, that's the inspiration. That's the notice. That's our focus. Freedom. Freedom's one of the basics here at Wose. As Marcus Garvey said, we're going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery because while others might free the body, none but ourselves can free our minds. In Stolen Legacy, Dr. George G.M. James reached way back to recover for us the wisdom of Kemet on that same point. While the word chains speaks of things that bind the body, Dr. James used the word fetters for those things that bind our spirits and our minds. He knew, like Garvey knew, our ancestors in Kemet also knew that the fetters on our minds are often the hardest to break. But we're here at Wose about finishing that work. We want our people to be free, to be free, to be free. In being free, in breaking those fetters, we need to know exactly what they are, lest they bind us without our knowing. Thankfully, Dr. James pointed the way, mostly. I say mostly, because like the people of Kemet were building for eternity, Dr. James was writing for eternity. We need to connect the last dots. Dr. James wrote, the earliest theory of salvation is the Egyptian theory. The Egyptian mystery system had its most important object, the deification of man, and taught that the soul of man, if liberated from its fetters, could enable him to become godlike and see the gods in this life and attain the beatific vision and hold communion with the immortals. He went on to say the study of science was a required condition to membership in the Egyptian mystery system, and its purpose was the liberation of the soul from the 10 fetters. The Egyptian summum bonum consisted of 5 stages, during which the neophyte developed from a good man into a triumphant master, attaining the highest spiritual consciousness by means of casting off the 10 bodily fetters. In the Egyptian mysteries, the concept of the supreme God is expressed as the purpose of virtue, and that is the salvation of the soul, by liberating it from the 10 fetters. This process of liberation is a process of purification both of mind and body. Therefore, the purpose of man's life is freedom from the fetters of the body, in which the soul is confined, and the practice of virtue of wisdom makes him like a god, even while on earth. The main purpose of the Egyptian mysteries was the salvation of the human soul. The Egyptians believed the human body to be a prison house where the soul is chained by the 10 fetters. The doctrines of the 10 virtues and the 10 fetters are as old as the Egyptian history itself. Each commandment or discipline represented by a principle of virtue, and the function of each virtue was to remove a fetter. Hence, a life of virtue was antecedent and preparatory to those further experiences, that is, the initiations which led to gradual perfection and the divinity. And finally, Dr. James wrote, this system of ethics belonged to the mystery system of Egypt, which required neophytes to keep the following 10 commandments, underlying which were 10 principles of virtue. The neophyte must control his thoughts, control his actions, have devotion of purpose, have faith in the ability of his master to teach him the truth, have faith in himself to assimilate the truth, have faith in himself to wield the truth, be free of resentment under experience of persecution, be free of resentment under experience of wrong. He must cultivate the ability to distinguish between right and wrong, and cultivate the ability to distinguish the real from the unreal. And here, let's take a breath. We need to know that in writing for eternity, our people in Kemet and Dr. James had to write general. That leaves it to us to identify the specifics of our time, to see the fetters clearly as they reemerge in 2023 to bind us. We're going to do some of that today, stepping quickly again through the 10 virtues and identifying some of our contemporary fetters. 1, we must control our thoughts. But in 2023, we have things that Dr. James didn't have, that our people in Kemet didn't have. We have clickbait. More clearly, we have intense distractions, not known to any prior generation. Phones let strangers talk to us inside our own homes. Acquaintances send us messages at their convenience. Dozens of message streams come from our oppressors flowing 24/7 through the airwaves. And every 10 minutes or so, the media we choose gets interrupted to tell our children not to be like us, Progressive Insurance. If we're being distracted, we're losing control of our thoughts, slipping back toward the mental slavery Garvey warned against. It's controlling our thoughts that frees us from the fetters of others' manipulation. We need to see those manipulations clearly and nullify them. 2, we must control our action. Yeah, that still means mainly controlling our thoughts. We don't want actions to favor our oppressor's ice because we think it's cooler. But controlling our actions also means controlling the means for influencing our thoughts. We need to give our own people a chance to offer us our truths. We need information. We need to get it from our channels, our newspapers, our radio, television, and increasingly our apps for whatever devices we use. 3, we must have devotion of purpose. That means we need both patience and balance. A single well-aimed shot may get you a rabbit for dinner. A single evening of witty conversation may get you laid. But crops require planting and tending for some time before a full harvest. And even within each significant effort, we can easily be distracted. As the Hosea says, do not misuse your time while following your heart, for it is offensive to the soul to waste one's time. In our time, the richness of our society and our ancestors' legacy offers more interesting options than we can possibly explore. It's balanced devotion, devotion of purpose, which serves us and assures our progress. That balanced devotion of purpose is what looses the fetters of impatience and distraction. 4, we must have faith in the ability of the master to teach the truth. This again is a challenge to our balance and time management. As Minister Imhotep says, we are all in various states of ignorance. Knowing no source is perfect, we must think for ourselves and test assertions when we can. But life is too short to personally test everything. So we must make good progress by trusting our teachers, lest we waste time confirming what they already know. The life and writings of Asa Hilliard highlight that powerful possibilities in good teacher-student collaboration. In our times, we're challenged to balance the gifts of teachers with the need for self-reliance and hands-on experience. Hands-on learning is essential, but we can only learn enough by learning from others, by learning from our teachers. 5, we must have faith in our ability to assimilate the truth. When we get the truth, it can seem complicated. How do we navigate our way forward? How? As we always have, with a map. Yeah, that word map has long meant a wayfinding tool, a tool for discerning where we are and which way to go to reach what we want. And though map mainly refers to physical spaces, by extension, it includes abstract spaces. So we now commonly map out a strategy. We map out our academic studies. We map out our careers. Whether physical or procedural, a map is some refinement of memory, our personal memory or communal memory, which helps us render complex situations in simple and manageable terms. So when we map out our studies, we reduce the complexity of interlocking prerequisite sequences leading up to our degree to simple things, like if it's 9 o'clock, go to anatomy class. We try to broadly forge simple tools all the time, but that's always a compromise. Whether our map is for geographic or abstract spaces, it's always a wayfinding tool, a tool for discerning where we are and which way to go next. Whether it's as crude as an L drawn in the sand for a wide receiver, or as subtle as 42 declarations evidencing a moral life. We've long communicated graphic and verbal maps to guide our turns and convey our path of truth. And we continue that today. 6, we must have faith in ourselves to wield the truth. This is a challenge to active righteousness. Just knowing what's right and true is not enough. If we don't wield the truth and act to shift things toward the good, we condemn ourselves to creeping Isfet, condemning all who follow to reestablish what is right and true before they can progress to where we already are. Not wielding the truth we have discards our work and the work of those who helped us reach and find that truth. Our constructed progress only happens by reshaping our world to embody, externalize, and offload our learnings. Without embodiment, we soon spend all our energies refreshing what we've already learned. We must make our truth manifest in the world, lest this fetter bind us to perpetually recreate truth. It's our ability to manifest, to wield the truth in continuing creation that frees us of this fetter. 7, we must be free from resentment under the experience of persecution. This is a challenge to our reciprocity and to our balance. Not responding to predation makes us dinner. Not responding to unjust assertions can let those assertions become the new normals. Unchecked, that's a path to death via subjugation. Still, resentment threatens to distract from our purpose into life-wasting conflict. In 2023, the fetter of resentment threatens to suck our life energies into meaningless conflict, distracting from our real purpose. For ourselves, our community, our purpose, we cast out resentment. 8, we must be free from resentment under the experience of wrong. This, again, is a challenge to our righteousness. Yes, we're called to righteously assert truth and establish right order. But where we see injustice and falsehood, we must limit our efforts to correcting the situation and structuring to stop future isfet. We can't escape our fetters if we waste our time and energy on punitive or vengeful actions, even where others have acted wrongly. 9, we must cultivate the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. This challenges us to see justice clearly, in spite of the many complications. Though it may seem a new phenomenon, muddying right and wrong is an ancient form of isfet. If a person can be persuaded right is wrong and wrong is right, they can be persuaded to any evil. Think of Dylan Roof. Think of Tim McVeigh. The predators and destroyers often profit by manipulating others. Weakness in distinguishing right and wrong makes good puppets, Ascari, for such manipulation. The more complex our societies become, the more abundant the traps become. We can't stand on subverted footings of others' distortions. We must stay engaged, sharing often with our scholars to escape the fetters of their moral seductions. Finally, 10, we must cultivate the ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal. This final virtue challenges our discernment of truth. A person persuaded right is wrong and wrong is right can be a tool of Isfet. A person persuaded real is unreal and unreal is real can also be a tool of Isfet. Such a person can be used to maim, kill, and subjugate for their manipulators' gain. Ultimately, we all get info through others. We need to assure that we select who to teach us, that we select those who teach us as sound sources and advisors who truly share our interests. In 2023, we know this challenge as a fetter of lies and distortions. We must diligently vet our info as much as we can with the teachers we select. We often sing, listen more often to things than to beings. We know, as our ancestors knew, that engaging nature more than society helps solidly ground us in our expectations. We're warned to stay conscious or woke, lest others ensnare us with fetters of their deception. It is our frequent sharing with community, with the scholars we select, which lets us escape the fetters of rampant lies. That final point, our unity, actually helps us break all the fetters. Again, let's hear from Mostep. As Professor Arma wrote, we are strongest in our working, breathing, thinking together as one people. Weakest when we are scattered, confused, broken into individual unconnected fragments. Let us strengthen each other by pulling together. Harambe! Harambe! Harambe!
Harambe. All right, Bill.
Harambe. Ashe, Ashe. Thank you, Minister Bill. Thank you for bringing us that message, that awesome message, the message of liberation of the soul, the message to that the function of our virtues is to remove the fetters, the lesson of bringing what was in antiquity to 2023, the lesson of that we need to be in more control of what goes out to our people, as well as selecting our teachers, which means what comes in to us. We thank you so much, Baba Bill, for telling us the practical ways and means to live these 10 virtues here in 2023. And also the engagement of nature, which is very, very important, highly important. So if these messages touched your soul, if these thoughts and ideas that have come down through from the Most High through Minister Bill has hit you somewhere in your heart, somewhere in your life, somewhere in your mind, and you would like to join WOSE, or you would like to know more about WOSE, this is the time to raise your hand, to do some waving. It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. I want to know more. Do these things at this time so that somebody can contact you, get in touch with you, so that you may know more about WOSE Community Church. And we had a little bit of, while we're waiting for you to make up your minds, um, we had a little bit of the what we believe and what we practice a little bit earlier. But just to let you know the rest of the what we believe, what we practice, I'll read that while you're making up your mind to raise your hand or to shout out, I would love to be a part of this community. To know that we'll say we'll say our way is not a random path. Our way begins with coherent understanding. It is a way that aims at preserving knowledge of who we are. It is with this conviction that we study the rich heritage of our African people. The way is reciprocity. The way is wholeness. The way is unity and self-determination. It is creativity, collective work, and responsibility. Our way is faith, purpose, and cooperative economics. The way knows no oppression. Our way creates. Our way worships and praises the God of our ancestors. The way is life, and the way destroys only destruction. All right, I personally don't see any hands up. As I'm looking, everyone here is a member or on their way to becoming a member. But if I did not see you and you want your hand to be raised or you want your voice to be heard and you want to become a member, this isn't the only time. We are very much open. You can go online. You can send a message to any one of our members or our ministers, and we will make sure that your desire to be a part of Will Say Community Church makes its manifestation. All right. So next we will have the Lift Every Voice by Baba Jeff.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that our past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new days begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Ashe, Ashe. That was
Ashe.
beautiful. That was our Star Child clan offering us Lift Every Voice and Sing. That really touched my heart. I saw them do it, but just watching the video was just so awesome. That was the Star Child clan. They're 4, 5, 7, and 10 years old, learning our anthem. So I'm sorry, that was so beautiful. That just hit me all of a sudden while I was watching it. Okay, so what I'm supposed to be doing. So now unto the one who has lifted us faultlessly up before the throne on high. May they empower us to be one people, with one aim, one destiny,
one destiny,
one heart,
one
love,
one love,
one God.
one God.
Let us call upon the name of that one God as our ancestors and elders have done for countless times and for time immemorial. Let us all say, Amen. You are
You are the most beautiful people on the face of this earth.
Beautiful people in the I will say thank you to all the youth that came and did their work today. I am very proud.
Yes.